exactly summer people. It was early April, which in Maine cannot be mistaken for the 4th of July. Plus, look around. There wasn't much here worth stealing. She shrugged. Did I know about the ticks and the Lyme disease? Oh, yeah. The poison ivy? Ditto. The great horned owls that preyed on cats? Ugh, that sounded gruesome. But I'd read somewhere that something like 4 billion birds are murdered by cats every year. So perhaps that's nature's just retribution? Also, we had no cats. Gathering the threads of her frayed patience, Jill leaned back to lob the big one. Did I know that the pond was roiling with eels? Bingo! My relationship with nature is best described as an uneasy truce built on a shaky foundation of fear, of kamikaze wasps, venomous spiders, rabid rodents, and most decidedly snakes. So, eels? Pretty much snakes in the water, right? I feigned indifference and saw Jill to the door. But after she left, I silently vowed to keep the eel infestation under wraps. As summer approached, I felt a little guilty about not sharing Jill's intel with our guests. Were eels viperous? Did they have razor-sharp teeth like the shrieking variety in The Princess Bride? Could an eel entangle a human ankle in its coils and yank the victim to a watery grave? Who knew? As it turned out, none of that mattered. Many visitors cannonballed into the pond that summer, and not a single eel took the bait, nor did we spot one. As time passed, I pretty much forgot about the eels. And then, some years later, Sam sauntered into our lives. Sam, let's keep his real name out of this, was a jack-of-all-trades who worked wonders with power tools, or so he claimed. But if that was ever true, Sam's wonders ceased with us. We'd hired him to fix our leaking roof and moldy basement, tasks for which his initial enthusiasm waned steadily with the passage of time. Some days he'd go missing on the pretext that his ex-wife had hauled him into family court in pursuit of still more child support. He saw this as simple harassment, as his kids were mostly grown. Some days he'd arrived late, offering no explanation. And some days he'd quit early, pull off his work boots, and pad into the kitchen toting a 4-pack of Maniac Gold cider. We'd each pop a can and he'd gripe, mostly about his ex-wife, who, in his telling, was harder on a man's constitution than a wicked bout of the crud. Sam didn't have much good to say about most other people in his life either. His former co-workers, his competitors, his adult daughter, but he was proud as heck of his 8-year-old grandson. He coached the boy in t-ball and horseshoes and had plans to teach him to fish. He'd do that, he said, once he put together the money to buy a decent boat. That sounded about right to me. At 49, Sam clearly knew his own mind. It wasn't too late to live the dream. I asked him why not mix business with pleasure and invest in a commercial fishing license to go with that boat. I could do that, he said, looking thoughtful. I have done that, but that was years ago. These days it's too risky, with the eels. This from a man who thought nothing of hauling buckets of nails up a 16-foot ladder. What was he scared of? Was it the razor-sharp teeth, I probed? Sam cracked open a 3rd can of cider and swigged it nearly dry. Eels didn't bite people, as far as he knew, he said. But it wouldn't matter if they did. He wasn't talking about eels big enough to draw blood. In Maine, grown eels taste of river-bottom mud and are best used as fish bait. What mattered were the glass eels, or as they are often called, elvers, baby eels about the length and shape of a waterlogged toothpick. As we will learn, elvers and glass eels, though often conflated, technically represent different stages in the eel's long life. Those little critters were worth the bundle, ounce for ounce, close to what a farmer would charge for the weed growing up the road. Only 2 states, Maine and South Carolina, had a legal glass eel fishery, but South Carolina's was too small to matter. That left Maine as the only serious elver hunting ground in the United States. Elver fishers could barely keep ahead of the demand, especially from China, where, for some reason Sam couldn't quite fathom, elvers were known as white gold. The little devils were so prized, he said, that